to start, like, do you mind just doing a quick intro about yourself?
Yeah, Kristine, hi. I don't really know what you would like to know about me. I'm 23 years old, about to turn 24. As you probably saw, I don't know, from my video. Yeah, I went to FIT. I grew up in Florida, and then I moved to Seattle, and I was raised there essentially. And then for college, I went to New York and I went to FIT. So I was out of fashion school. So that was very interesting. And then after I graduated, I moved to LA. And ever since I moved here, I've just been working since. So yeah, it's been transition, lots of moving around, developed a lot as a person. But yeah, that's pretty much me in a nutshell. I feel like I mostly talk about spirituality, growth, change, having that growth mindset, and just being able to relate and connect to people. I think that's what most people want, right? So
Cool, great. So I guess going back a bit, why did you decide to go to college in New York? Like, did you ever consider any other schools or any other cities?
I think with New York, I did consider a couple other cities. I knew for the longest time that I just didn't want to be in Seattle. That was not really my primary goal. I felt like because I did grow up in Seattle for majority of my life, that it would just be a nice change of pace, and I felt like I needed to be challenged. And I thought New York is the perfect place for that. And it's kind of the perfect place to kind of reinvent yourself and just do whatever the hell you want, because you're in your college years. And so, yeah, that's why I picked New York. And also just happened to be that the school I wanted to go to was there, or the school that I applied to was there. I had gone to New York to tour some schools and stuff, but I don't think it was until my senior year I felt very confident that I wanted to be in New York.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, what was your degree specifically?
Yeah. So my degree was AMC for short. So it's advertising and marketing communications. So in that field, you're going to be learning everything, all the ins and outs of just marketing and advertising in general. But you're also going to be learning how to write press releases or create copy, at ad firm. You're going to be doing a lot of how would I say it? A lot of group projects. I would say a lot of pitching. So I think it's a good program for anybody that is interested in advertising and marketing. I would say more specifically in a creative field and space. Clearly there are marketing programs at all universities essentially, but I think specifically with FIT, why I chose that school was because I knew that I wanted to be in the fashion and skincare world. And the good thing that I like about FIT is a lot of the professors that teach there, they're actually working professionals. They're still working. Their full-time job is not teaching. It's their passion or their side hobby. So because of that, you're getting industry-leading professionals that are teaching these classes and sharing their experience and knowledge, and also their connections, because they'll bring in, other people that they've worked with in the past or clients. So yeah, that was my major. It was fun, but I don't miss school.
Yeah, did you find it really challenging, like academically or?
Academically, I don't think so. Well, okay, there were definitely those nights where it's oh, I'm pulling an all-nighter, working on projects, busting my butt, but I don't think it was anything so rigorous that I couldn't handle it, if that makes sense. But also, I went to a very academically challenged high school. It was very intense. And we had I'm sure you've heard of the AP program, So we had AP and IB, so it was the International Baccalaureate program. So because of that, and also the school district that the school is in, it's very, I would say, advanced, or just very competitive. So because of that, I feel like it prepared me well for college.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess, was there a really one course that you thought was really beneficial, or what do you think was the most important thing that you learned?
I don't even know if I remember the name. Okay, I can think of two. So one of them was a intro to PR class, and I work in public relations now. I work in social media marketing, so that's kind of my field and area of expertise. And in that class, we wrote a lot of media updates, press releases. We had to create almost imaginary events, and figure out how we would create that, the process of it, writing a press release for it, a media update for it, like who would we invite, that kind of thing. So I feel like it prepares you for, because I do that now, you know, when I do influencer sends or creating press releases, whatever it may be, I still use, I guess, that knowledge to this day. And like, it was good practice, I would say, for the real world. And then also another class, it was, I don't even remember what it's called. It's probably just some type of marketing class. But it was very heavily project based. And I liked it because it was solo projects, because like, it's not just like group projects. I feel like in group projects, there's always just a couple people, you know, that kind of let you down, and they're like, they're the ones that drag the whole team down. You have to do all the work, but it's all like solo. Most of it, I think, was like solo projects that we had to do. And we had to pitch a new idea on how to kind of revamp a business that's like dying, or like that is kind of outdated, a business model. So we had to basically create an entirely new marketing strategy and pitch it in front of the whole class, with them asking you questions and also the professor critiquing you, which can be very nerve-wracking because it was not like a nice professor. It was a very aggressive professor that would like call you out on shit if you had loopholes. So your case had to be really tight, you know, you had to be super confident in what you were saying and like really just push through. And I feel like that taught me to not doubt myself and the ideas that I have. And like, if I'm gonna go with something, I need to stick it and believe it full-heartedly, and really think of how other people might view it and understand kind of the questions that they may ask, so that way I can be prepared on how to reply and like assure, you know, a client or whoever it may be, or my boss, if I'm pitching to my boss in the future, like, no, this is a solid plan and like we should invest in this kind of strategy. I would say those two classes were really helpful.
Right. Yes. I think like the practical elements really prepared you for the real world.
Yes, definitely. A lot of the practical elements helped me in the real world. Although I would say I do wish I paid a little bit more attention when I did do like a copy class, because in one of my first jobs, like I was asked to write copy. So whether that be for like the website or Instagram, and I realized I'm not very good at it. And it takes a very particular type of person to write it, because you have to really understand the brand's messaging and know their tone and what they're trying to convey so well, while also making it interesting and captivating at the same time. And for me, I'm just like, I can fluff up things, but when you do copy, it's like, it has to be so extravagant and like extra that I'm just like, I'm over it. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. So yeah, that's the only class I would say that I wish I paid a little bit more attention to. I think that it's good, like FIT, and the program that I was in, I would say it's very much so like realistic in what you would be doing in your job, you know, hopefully, if you choose the correct program.
Yeah. So I guess a lot of people kind of dream of New York and, you know, think it's, I don't know, like they just have really like high expectations, I guess. Was there anything that you didn't enjoy about living there?
Oh yeah, so many things. What are the reasons why I moved? No, like I love New York. I feel like when people think of New York, they think of those movies and like they're going out at like they're going through a tunnel and then you see the skyscrapers and like the like Dumbo Bridge. There's just something beautiful, right? And like you think late nights out and just fun times in the city. And yes, while that is all very true and you do experience those things, I would say that I don't think I was prepared for how overwhelming it feels, because to be in such a big city, there's something about the energy of being in a city, and it's so different from LA or Seattle. Like I've lived in both, which are pretty major cities, and like I don't know how it might compare to like Chicago or like even Austin, because like that's also a city as well. But I would say New York, like yeah, there's this idea, right, of like people romanticize it and they think Central Park and all these beautiful places. And that is true. It's really overwhelming to be surrounded by that many people all the time, especially if you're taking the train constantly, if you're taking the bus constantly. If you live in Manhattan, good luck to you. I'm wishing you good luck, because it is so fun, but as I've gotten older, I've realized like I grew up in the suburbs. I don't want to be hearing drunk people outside my apartment at 3 a.m. I don't want to hear like fire trucks and police cars like chasing a car. Like I was living in the heart of Manhattan for a couple of years, and it was really fun because it was in like my college years and I was just going out and everything, and it's very convenient. That's the one thing I love, but I think just feeling so overwhelmed all the time, and as a person that has anxiety, and like it's just a lot, and it feels like you can't really ever turn off your brain because there's always something going on. With that, I would also say because of the feeling of being overwhelmed, like I think that ties into like loneliness as well. It's funny that in one of the biggest cities in the world you could feel the loneliest like you can ever feel in your life. And I would say like there, that was a place where I definitely did feel lonely, but I think that was also a mixture of like homesickness and like just trying to find my place and understanding, who I am, and just all those kind of big questions that you or things that you feel during your college years. What else? I mean, public transit can be gross sometimes, like
Yeah.
I've seen just the rats, the New York rats. Oh my gosh, so gross. Like you'll see like a homeless woman peeing in the corner in the train station. It's nasty, but I will say that living in California now, I do kind of miss it because, I mean, it's efficient. It gets you from point A to Z easily, so I can't complain too much, but it is a little gross.
Okay. I guess on the other hand, say if someone were to maybe visit New York, do you have any favorite spots or places that you would recommend people go to?
Yes. Oh my gosh, I have so many spots. I would say if you're going to New York for the first time ever in your life, you have to visit Central Park. It is beautiful and it is so romantic, and like I'm not gonna lie, it's amazing. I would say definitely go to the Metropolitan Museum of Art on the Upper East Side. It is so beautiful. It's iconic. When you think of the Met, you think like what, Gossip Girl sitting on the Met steps or something like that, and just beautiful pieces of art. You think the Met Gala. It is all so gorgeous, and you can just, stop along the Upper East Side while you're there and look at the beautiful houses that you wish you could live in, but they probably cost like an arm and a leg to live there. And then I would say definitely visit like the World Trade Center. There's just so much history there and everything that has happened there. It is a beautiful and also very, I think, important place to visit if you are, going to go to New York. Another place I would visit is, of course, like the Empire State Building. It's like the very touristy stuff, but it is beautiful. And the first time I moved there, I paid the extra like $40 and like went to the very top, and the skyline is fantastic. I would also say make sure you go to Brooklyn, particularly like Dumbo, because that area is really incredible and you get to see a different view, like the lakeside view. Yeah, lakeside view of Manhattan. So like another skyline view, which is amazing. And then I have so many restaurants to go to name just a few so I don't keep going on, because I love food so much, and that's like my favorite thing to recommend people is, number one, I would definitely go to Prince Street Pizza. When you hear New York, you think pizza, you think bagels, you think like just street food, and then you also think like the really bougie food. So for the pizza, Prince Street Pizza, literally the best pizza you will ever eat in your life. I think every month I literally tell my friends I miss Prince Street Pizza because that's how much I love it. And it's so good. And I would say definitely I feel like almost any restaurant. Little Italy is delicious. The Italian food and the culture in New York, like from I don't know, generations of Italians. It's incredible. And that's the one thing that I love about New York is like it is so diverse and there's a blend of everything together. So it just makes everything so incredible, and also the accessibility is really great as well. Like I don't have to drive, or I don't have to like go an hour out to get like good Italian food or good Chinese food or like good Thai food, whatever it is. And then another one I'll mention is also Halal Guys, because Halal Guys started in New York. Like you have to go to the cart and have the experience and order and sit on the like the side of the ledge and like eat. Like that is just another experience as well. So those two places are a must.
Awesome, cool. In terms of like kind of graduating and that job search, how did you go about like finding a job, and did you ever have to deal with rejection and that kind of thing?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. That is Ah, man, I don't miss that. But like that's gonna eventually be me again when I job search again. But at least I would have more experience. But for me, applying for jobs was so stressful, and I think again because I'm already an anxious person, there's just so much anxiety and stress that goes along with like finding a job and like trying to, I guess, appear as like a really great candidate and choice and like a well-rounded candidate that like knows their stuff and is like positive and you're going to add to the company.
Right.
While also like the idea of like negotiating pay and salary, that's also another huge thing. So it was very, very stressful for me. But a lot of the jobs that, or all the jobs that I got, I actually didn't have a connection there. All my internships I did previously, however, they really helped and propelled me and gave me a really nice resume, I would say, because of that experience that I had. And those were all developed through school or also just like previous people that I've worked with. So for example, one of my internships that really, really helped me and I got a lot of learning from was my coworker at I was working a retail job and she was telling me that she got a new internship and I was like, oh, I need to get on that. She's like, oh, like if you need anyone, or like if you're thinking about it, apply here, like tell them that I sent you over and like I ended up getting the internship and there I was able to learn a lot and just grow more. The key with applying to jobs is really think about what you want. And I know that's like really just broad and like stupid, but I think it's you need to be very clear in the kind of person you are, the kind of learner you are, the environment you want to be in, and also you need to be able to be firm with the pay that you want. I personally wish that I had negotiated a little bit more with my pay. I think that's really important and not talked about as much, especially as a female in the workplace. A lot of times we settle for less than what we can ask for. So don't give a range, give a number. I think the best is to always aim high because the most they can do is say no. And I actually heard this from a few HR people. And they said that by the time they've offered you the job and you're negotiating pay, they don't want to go back and go through the process again to interview more people. They've pretty much already chosen you. So again, the worst they can do is say no. So learn from me because now I have to go through the process of like, well, I mean, I would have anyways, asking again and like for a promotion. So that's also really important, pay and talking about the expectations of your job and knowing that, yes, you're bringing something to the company. So they should be compensating you properly. And also, of course, looking at like the benefits they have, like health insurance and that kind of thing. So, or I know 401k plan, please invest in. If they have a 401k plan, please do it because you will be saving so much money as opposed to if you start 30. There have been studies out there, but yes, those things are like really important for me. And they, luckily, I have an older brother and older friends, so they really helped guide me through that process. And like, I was confident that I was going to get something, but I just really wanted to get something I loved. And I think it's okay to be somewhat picky in terms of your job because trust me, I have worked jobs where I hated it and it was miserable and like you just don't want to live that kind of life.
Yeah, sure.
That's a lot of advice. It's true. There's a lot to think about, but I think start small and think about what it is you really want from a job and then also just move on to the environment and the other requirements that are really important to you.
Cool. So I know you kind of work in the skincare industry. So if there was one product that you had to recommend people, what would you say?
Oh my God, that's so hard.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, one product.
Or like, what's something that you're really loving right now?
Okay, so I know my essentials, right? Like, regardless, like, it's a non-negotiable. You gotta cleanse your face, okay? You gotta freaking moisturize your face, and you need SPF. Those three things, it's a non-negotiable. That is like, you have to do those three things every day. So if I'm gonna choose one of those three, I will choose the moisturizer that I'm using because I think that's the one thing that I experiment with the most because I have drier skin. So because of that, I'm constantly looking for a moisturizer that's going to make my skin feel hydrated, not break me out, and just be really lightweight. I don't really like anything that's too heavy, unless it's like at night. And so the moisturizer that I'm using is the Purito Deep Sea Water Moisturizer. It's a Korean brand. I like that they're also really sustainable and that they're trying their best to be as environmentally friendly as possible. And they're very eco-conscious, which is important to me because that's been something that I've really been thinking about as a consumer as of late. And then the ingredients are honestly so great. They have deep sea water, niacinamide, so it's going to be really just hydrating and also anti-aging and also brightening for the skin. So I really like that product in particular. That's just my favorite for now because I feel like things change all the time.
Cool. I guess so. You're quite into traveling, right? Do you have
Yes.
a bucket list or any places you really want to visit?
Oh my gosh. Yes, I have such a huge bucket list. I am a huge travel lover. I am an adventurer. If I could, I mean, I've thought about this before, but like, if I could, I don't think that I would live in the US because I would love to just travel around the world. However, I am tied financially and I need to, get to that point where I can, and then I can have my eat, pray, love moment where like I quit my job and travel the world for like a year, like that would be my dream. But right now, I would say number one on my bucket list is going to be Paris because I actually was supposed to be in Paris now, actually. I was supposed to be in Paris like last week. But COVID and everything and things change. That happens. It's the course of life. And with everything going on, it's also just not safe to go out. So I was supposed to go to Paris. I was actually supposed to do a solo trip and then I was going to meet one of my girlfriends in Amsterdam. So Paris and Amsterdam is like number 1 and 2 on my list. And then I would say number 3 on my list would be, I really want to go, actually, I'm going to scratch number 3. I'm just going to put this in non-numerical order because I want to go to all these places so badly, but I really want to go to Morocco. I think Morocco is so beautiful and rich with culture and history, and I also feel like it is just going to be, it's a whole nother world, an experience there, and I would just love to go to the markets and look at all these spices and just eat the food. Oh my gosh, that'd be incredible. Other place that I really want to go to would be Spain. I love Spanish food so much. Oh my gosh, I can just picture myself eating a paella with my sangria and listening to the music and admiring the architecture. It's just so many. I would also love to go to Australia. I think it's really cool there. I would love to also go to Thailand and Vietnam. I think those 2 Asian countries. I've been to a couple other Asian countries before, so I think it'd be really cool to explore more of Southeast Asia.
Cool. I guess just finally, maybe if someone's watching this and they're thinking of going to FIT, do you have any like tips or advice? Like just go for it or?
Just say go for it, honestly. A really fun experience. I don't regret anything, even though I feel like a lot of, you're always going to have some kind of, not even, I wouldn't say issue, but like there's always going to be one thing that you might not like about the school, whatever school it may be. So I would just say apply, do it, have somebody read your essay, get other people's eyes on it. And if fashion and beauty and being at that school is really what you want to do, don't let anybody stop you from doing it because at the end of the day, this is your life. And if you're going to live your life, don't live it thinking that you could have done something, just do it. And most of life anyways is just trying something. And if it's not for you, then you're just rerouted a different way. I don't really think that there's anything or that there really are any failures in life because it's so cheesy. But like in your own destiny, as Oprah would say, your supreme destiny, things are always going to pan out in a certain way. And just because one thing doesn't work out, it doesn't mean that you failed.
It's all a learning experience, right?
Yes, it's all a learning experience and things are gonna go to shit sometimes and you're gonna fuck up, but you know what? Just own it and be and live as authentically as you can.
Cool, awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah.
I'll put your links in the description so everyone can go follow you and subscribe to your YouTube.
Okay.
And yeah, thanks so much.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Bye.
Yeah, bye.